All right, my friends, emotional day in the chess world. I've been watching too many YouTube videos, but especially the one from Chess Base India where they're losing their minds. Oh, that's pretty exciting, dude. It's pretty amazing. So, yesterday we did the under 1,000, and today we're going to do the over 1,000. And we're going to begin, my good friends, with YOLO Chess. I like that one, YOLO Chess. YOLO Chess goes from 1,000 to 1,100. And look at that. Oh, dude, look at that heat map. That's what we're talking about, dude. If I change it to hours worked, basically the same thing. That looks great, dude. So basically, the heat map is invented, and YOLO Chess joins the program right around the same time the heat map started. And he's doing the work, dude. He's doing the work. And he's doing it the dojo way. You can see he only did opening one time. And otherwise, he's just following the program, dude. So clubs, Chicago. All right, I lived in Chicago in the last millennium. And there we go. That's looking like a good breakdown. Let's go games. Oh, Safuya. This is cool because I believe we had Safuya yesterday. And so first, let's just take a little look. Here's our time graph. And YOLO, you look like maybe you're playing a little too fast, Bo. It's a little too fast. So this is the fourth cohort round robin game. Great. This round robin is a beautiful thing if you don't know about it. All right, let's go over here. So he's talking about the short and sweet chessable course. Now, if you were at this level and you want to do a course, then a chessable course is a pretty good idea. The old chessable courses used to be better with the short and sweet. They would actually give you like the skeleton of what you need to do. But now they're really trying to upsell you, so they're going to kind of give you like a faulty car. they're going to give you like a wrench and a screw, but not the body of the car. Okay, knight f3. There's nothing wrong with knight f3. d5. We're fine. And this is essentially still a Caro Kann, and you play knight f6. Fine. And now this queen e2 is hilarious because queen e2, to my mind, is really a nasty move. But it's become theory. And here's a funny thing is that he actually gives knight d7 but doesn't see the problem. The problem with knight d7, boss, is mate. Oh, no, checkmate. So that's the nasty trick behind queen e2. And queen e2, it's just a computer move. Somebody came up with that thing. And the point is, well, if we have to take, then the queen naturally develops. And then it's kind of like, oh, then at least the queen isn't blocking the bishop. Now, f5 is a truly nasty move. You mentioned queen d5, bishop, knight d7. That's fine. I believe in the dojo course, by the way. That's something you could do as the dojo course. Is queen a5 followed by bishop f5, I believe, is in there. Yeah. Stop my M2S to watch show. What is an M2S, S. Bastoon? Yeah. So here we go. f5, incorrectamundo. Queen e3. Yeah, now we have real problems. Let's see how you deal with it. g6. Queen e5 would be unpleasant. Bishop c4 is also unpleasant. Bishop g7, good. Knight g5, that's unpleasant. Bishop h6. Oh, we're getting nailed here. Oh, we're getting hosed. Yeah. He's just rolling us here. Okay, so now we're going to see Safuya really, and can they take us out? Queen d3, okay. Oh, that's a good move. Okay. So we're totally lost, and let's just see how it goes. You know, at least you're learning from Ding and you're not resigning, right? Not resigning. Well, they don't want to take it. You don't have to take it. Now, here, okay, you know, what are we doing here? What are we doing? Okay, maybe the lesson of this game is to follow opening principles when you don't know how to proceed or see an unfamiliar opening. Well, right. And F5, it really is a horrendous thing. And yeah, you don't need to know really too much about opening, Bishmopening in this position. You need to develop your pieces. So Queen A5, Bishop F5, that's just one thing. You can play G6, you can play Knight D7. You're doing fine. You're doing absolutely fine here. And you played it, you did think a while on it, so we can't accuse you there. But one of the things we're going to give Safuya credit for is you played one nasty positional move, and after which, like, it's bad. It's bad, and Safuya played it well. Like, I like Queen E5 here, but what Safuya did also very crushing. Oh my gosh. It's oh my gosh. Oh, the main twos. Nice. Good, Espastu. All right. So there it was there. That was YOLO and got a lesson from Safuya. And let me just see, where was Safuya? I feel like Safuya, wait, back over here. I feel like I saw Safuya recently. Oh, say, Safuya. Oh, right, I remember. So Safuya was the one yesterday who done this outrageous thing where they're kind of high rated, and then they want to go down and beat up. They want to be like a 300-pound gorilla in the 0 to 300 cohort, bop everyone around in there, make themselves feel better about themselves. Clearly, Safuya isn't down there, but Safuya's on a quest, which I criticized, of trying to do the program from the very bottom. There's been a couple people who've tried to do this, and I'm like, bows, that's not how we set this thing up. Okay, now we got Blibup. And let's read what Blibup says. Finally regraduating after self-sabotaging my ChessCom rating with some bad marathon sessions, but still chasing the peak from spring. Switched my tactics training mostly to quick basics instead of drawn out 20 minutes head scratchers, which help loads with quick calculations and visualizations. Still need to force myself to actually calculate moves though, and then trust in them, but that's another story. Still have to force myself to play more longer games and play more in general. With half a point out of 2 in the 1100, 1200 round robin, I should get more game time soon. Check the game with Brew if this comes up in the grad show. Okay. By the way, I want to stress this round robin thing we got going on. Really super cool. I think in fact, the majority of players, well, not the majority, but a lot of players in the dojo just don't have the time and resources to do an over the board, but they do need to have like a solid classical game on the regular, and the round robin is the place to do that. Yeah, because you're going to get somebody who's not cheating, you're going to get someone right at your level, you're going to get somebody with whom you could do a post-mortem with. And one of the great innovations I'm really hoping for, maybe in about 2 more weeks, is we're going to have the ability for people who are outside the dojo to come and play this as well. Okay. So, there's not enough spaces there. I'll fill up. Well, Blibup, we will get more. We will get more. There's always new ones opening up. Here's Blibup. Oh, look at that. Heat map bows. That's very nice. Very nice. A lot of middle games and strategy. Let's go see what that middle games and strategy is over there. So, boom. Let's go click on middle games and strategy. So, logical chess, move by move, master games, great. Okay, that looks really good. And you can see Blibup has done some serious work. Go over here, look at clubs. As a German lad, settled down in Ireland. Okay. So, European, Irish, German. Nice. And clearly, like, this was a tactics period, and then we had a book reading period. Oh, that's great. Let's see if we got a game here. He mentioned, what was the one he wanted to do with Brew? Yeah, Brewmaster. There he is. So let's give that one a click. Boom. First, let's see if we can shame him with the time graph. Nope. There's the time graph. Time graph looks totally reasonable. See, it's so simple. You can see at a glance. You can see at a glance whether it's correct or not. All right, let's go game review. And this is part of the round robin. So here we go. So far, okay. Now, this is a little fancy for the level you're at, but all right, here we go. A6. Like, for example, to do this, if I was your coach, right, which I'm a kind of coach to you, right, is I would want you to tell me the story of what we're doing here. I would want the story. So pawn takes, g6, knight c3, bishop g7. And right, here we miss the story. You got to play bishop a6 so that e4 doesn't come with a tempo. So already here, this is a bad news. Now, what is the story? Let's talk about the story. The story that the Benko player has to understand is that you are playing a Benoni structure. And in the Benoni, what we do is we try to create drama with our b5 pawn at some point, queenside drama, before we get nailed with space in the center and maybe an attack on our poor king. The Benko, the story is I need drama on the A and B files so that I'm not going to get crushed in the center, so that my pieces get a little room. So it's very critical here after knight c3 to take on a6 so that we make e4 a little problematic. And a very standard line is this kind of business, and this is kind of like known theory. Interesting play for black. Okay, so mistake. Now they get e4 without the problems. Weird. Of course, they should play knight f3. No blibble. g6 is a poor move. You cannot allow e4 with the gain of time. Queen a5. Bishop b3 is poor move. Queen a5, good move. Knight f3, blunder. Thank you very much. Now we're winning. Bishop d2. Knight d2 looks fine to me. And now you played bishop a6 is okay. Bishop a6. And let's play queen a6. Good move. Queen e2. And now we have an interesting question. You don't like queen e2 that much. Okay, so one of the things that I was taught about this Benko was that the endgames are always good for us. Now, one of the reasons the endgames are good for us is because the problem with the Benko is we might get mated. Now, it's going to be hard for them to mate us without the pawn on e4. Right? So that was a big deal. And we want in this position to fix our knight. So let's see, you talk about d6. And you talk about e6. E6 is interesting. I like e6. These are good annotations, by the way. Yeah. Okay. So queen e2, d6, fine. e1. And let's see what your intention is, rook f8. And you talk a little bit about knight e5. Now, by the way, white is never equal. So even in this thing with knight e5, like you give this line, no way. Just if you need to, just go back to f6. It's never equal for the poor guy because the pawn on d5 is weak. You're about to play rook fb8. It's a whole mess. And this one also, beautiful position for you, you know. Nearly winning, really. Yeah. So that said, when we go over here, I think the issue that I want you to see is that knight d7 means that you can't do rook a7 to defend anymore. So it becomes a question of how we should have played this. Your move rook fe8, though, I also want to give a try because a lot of times in these Benko positions, we just play king f8 and say, what? My king is holding my one weakness, and what are you going to do? King c2, knight e5. And you mentioned king f8? No. So king f8 here is the standard Benko move. Now, one of the things I say in all these game reviews is that when you play an opening, you're going to get practice in a position like this. And one of the things that, I've actually suffered from as white is the guy puts their king on f8, and I'm like, oh, I can't do anything. I can't do anything, man. This is terrible. So, right, this is a mistake, but your position's still amazing. h3 makes no sense. Rook a b8, incorrect. And now what do we want? You want to play king f8, because then you're ready to play over here. Yeah, so now the rook's misplaced because we wanted the rook over there. a4, e6. And now, right, you want to play rook b4. And then maybe Stockfish is confusing but one of the key things about the Benko is whenever they push, now these squares are weak. So we would want to consider rook b4 as the main move. e6. Now I'm getting a little worried for you because we don't want to trade that pawn. That pawn is a weakness. Knight b5. Was that a good move? I don't know. I thought a5 would be the real question. Rook b7. I don't get it. But rook b6, I also don't understand. No, I guess no. Fine. Rook b6, yeah. So rook b7, simple chess. b3. I still didn't understand knight b5 really, but e7. You talk about g5. Okay. So you were talking about king d7. Yeah, king d7 looks like the right move. Yeah, king d7. You go rook e2, king c6, rook e d2. And you talk about d5 if we can get it, but even here, he's not doing anything to us, right? So rook d7. He honestly, by the way, he should have not put the knight on b5 so he could push a5. But all right, here we go. Now we're in trouble, and he misses. Doesn't he have f4 now? He misses f4. He's just shuffling. He's doing the shuffle. They're both doing the shuffle. King f6, e3. And, yeah, he doesn't play f4. So, yeah, I mean, you're talking about g3 and g5, but we'd rather not trade pawns and just, get it over here. Okay, so good game and good notes. I think that's a good, now I want to say a couple things. Of course, you know that I'm not wanting you to spend a lot of time on openings, and this is a fancy pants opening. There's a couple of reasons it's fancy pants too. Back in the day, almost everybody played a move order with d4, c4, but now they don't. So now if you learn this thing, you're learning it only for a very specific case that won't come up in the majority of your games. Number two is, I think to understand the story of b5, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to understand that story. But okay, your opponents won't understand the story either. So if you absorb what the story is, then, you're going to be doing really good. Okay, so good game, good annotations. And now we have Marcelo. I think I remember Marcelo from earlier. I'm pleased to have graduated again after a period of lower ratings, concentrated on tactics, numerous rapid games, and reviewed my classical games. My rating is improving now that I'm limiting myself to a maximum of 4 rapids a day. Look at that, boss. And he's doing some crazy non-dojo work. His rating's definitely going up. I have to log my non-dojo. I'm finally done with the World Championship, so I'm going to go back to my regularly scheduled life. My regularly scheduled life here. Okay, we got some good tests going on. Yeah. I have a feeling if he does another one, he's going to get a higher rating on the tactics test. Clubs. All right, we're back in Italy. Let's go activity. I want to see what this non-dojo stuff is. Oh, a bunch of rapid games. He mentioned that. Okay. I think especially at this level, if you enjoy rapid, it's better than playing blitz if you enjoy blitz, All right, games. And here, this is a pretty recent game. Let's check it out. So, let's see a time graph. Do we got something? Uh-oh, Marcelo. Now, the good news, Marcelo, is we're going to be yelling more at your opponent than you here. So that's the good news. The bad news is we're hoping by move 15 you're totally winning, because otherwise you have the time disease yourself. I'm going to reflect on something I said yesterday that I think is really fascinating to me. I think the psychologists could talk at length about it. And that is, isn't it amazing that when you look at the spectrum of playing abilities from the very bottom to the very top, that the players at the top witness this world championship, their problem is they move too slow and they can tank just incredibly. They love to think, and it's hard for them to just make an intuitive decision. They want to think it through all the way. On the other end, right, we have players just moving way too fast, and especially in the online world where people are distracted, that's when they're going to make these impulsive moves. So, Marcelo, we're going to hope that you are winning by move 15. Let's see how it goes. Okay, h6, obviously a little controversial. g5, and what's funny about this is the old-timers would say this is absolutely abysmal by black. However, I do know that there are people that the computer kind of likes it. This is h6, g5 thing. h3. And you write, not the best move at all. Now my opponent has a hook. Very well said. Very well said. Right. So you talk about d4, basically any move. Rook e1, knight c3, knight bd2, maybe even c3. d5. Now this is wrong though, d5. This shows that black doesn't understand. So what's going to happen now is black opens the center, and that's going to help us. We are still much better developed. The whole thing in this setup is to hold the center down with d6 and slowly build like a vampire over there on the king side. So mistake. And now rook e1, very simple and strong. And now knight bd2. Intuitively, I like knight c3 better. g4. Controversial because not developing, but we get it. c3, good move. We need to get our queen out, and the pawn on c3 controls the knight on c6. h5. This person hasn't been listening to me talk about development. Queen b3, good move. Knight f4, full blunder. Thank you very much. We'll just come back. That wasn't it. So, yeah, bishop takes d3, queen b7, winning. And that's what black deserves for not developing. We're still doing great. Knight a5, blunder. Thank you very much for playing. Knight g2, I don't know. Thank you. That's probably reasonable. Does he miss? He missed c5. Still do this. Thank you very much. Check to the miserable king. Oh, checkmate. It's over. That's right. So were we winning on move 15? Well, I guess so. Yeah, Marcelo gets a pass. Marcelo gets a pass. Now, rook e3 was a mistake, but he did think for an hour, or a minute 24. A minute 24. Okay, good. So congratulations, Marcelo. Yeah, well done. Now we got Chess Cat. I've got to go back to the grad show. Regraduating to the cohort I started from when I just joined right before the new rating converter. In the coming months, I probably won't be able to dedicate as much time to chess as I used to, so I don't expect another graduation very soon. The rating reshuffle bumped me down, throwing me 2 steps further from having such gems as 60 memorable endgame strategy and art of attack as my training program tasks. why is so much great stuff in so high up the ladder? Well, I can tell you, it takes a lot of skill to appreciate those books. And they're beautiful books, and perhaps you'd enjoy reading them, but it's not going to help you that much right now. So that's why. I got disappointed. But by the way, like I think at this, the cohort you just left has the Irving Cherneff book, great. So I would say if we're going to complain about not having good chess books, it's like the under 900 crew. And the under 900 crew doesn't have, basically that was a decision we made, that we wanted them to have what we could call chess culture, but we just said, no, first we got to get the basics down. All right, to continue here. I got disappointed, but in the end took it as an opportunity to read Most Instructive Games, Cherneff, great, and so far I like it. Great book. In fact, when we did the statistical analysis for Dojo 3.0, that was the one task that was most correlated with rating gain, was to read that book. So, welcome to the dojo. Okay. One great thing about the dojo is that it helps you see your weak spots more clearly. For instance, I thought my tactics was okay, but quickly realized it actually sucks. The truth hurts. Now I see that that has improved, but I still need to work on the tactics more if I want to get further. The other thing is the community aspect, and this assessment comes from an extremely introverted guy. And while we're at it, huge thanks to Paul Morphy Lives, Kevin Mura, Hesse RP, and all the great helpful feedback. Great. Yeah. Beautiful stuff. All right, let's go give ChessCat a look. That rating reshuffle was pretty rough. And ChessCat, my good friends, oh, dude, he's in Kiev, dude. Dang. An amateur father. That's I like that one, dude. An amateur father. I'm going to steal that one. I'm an amateur father as well. Okay. So, dude, well, I'm wishing you luck in Kiev, man. That's rough stuff. Lots of great work here. It looks like he's been doing a lot of colors. Sometimes confuse me a little bit between endgame and middle games and strategy. But I think I'm looking at middle games and strategy, and it's probably that Irving Cherneff book right there. So, doing great. And tactics maybe need some work. And all of these things are areas where, you can push it, and you should try to get up to where you are. I think these ones, it's a good, especially our tactics tests and the chess.com puzzle rush, for this level, especially for the puzzle rush, I think it's great as a diagnostic and a way for you to identify basic tactics. Okay, and if you're not like a ChessCom Diamond member, fine, because then it just allows you to do one a day. That's maybe good. One a day is fine. You don't need to do more than that. Okay, so let's look clubs. Now, I have a request, ChessCat. If you could create a Ukrainian club or a Kiev club, that would be amazing, dude. That is my personal request to you. I actually have a couple of people I know pretty well who went back, dude. Like this summer, I played against Igor Novikov. He's living in Kiev, GM, old-timer. Alexander Onishuk, I believe, went back to Odessa, Holy moly. All right, here we go. Games. Hopefully that thing will end soon, man. All right, here we go. This is Shamray. Let's give a look at the clock. Good clock. Good. That's the way it should look from both players. Great. And then we'll go game review. So here we go. Good. Now, knight c6, incorrect. And now black must really find d5. So cd is rough because now our knight gets the square. And now I feel d5 is muy importante, to stop us from shoving his knight around. And here, great notes, d5, knight e5, f4, correct. So knight f3, and this gives black the opportunity to play d5 again. And we're missing it, but we still got a great position. Knight f6. But now both d5 looks like a hell of a drug as well as e5. So this is horrible by black. Okay. And you write d5 as being better. I mean, d5 looks crushing. This honestly looks crushing too. Because what, he's going to go here, and now d5, fantastic. And here it might be good to just know why you rejected it. My guess is that you didn't see that the knight was hanging at the end of this all, right? So snip, snop, snook, and snark, right? Okay, so bishop f4, you're still doing great. e6, ugly. And now g4. If Jesse ever sees it, he's going to yell at me. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let's start the yelling. Let's get some yelling going on here. That's right. Thank you, Patzer Gamer. We had a question. What about the Lee Chess Puzzle Storm? I don't like it as much. It is pretty, yeah, I don't like it nearly as much. It's too fast. Okay, so let's read what he says about my yelling. If Jesse ever sees it, he's going to yell at me. I had a vague feeling that I'm better, but I wasn't seeing an active plan, so I wasn't sure what I should do. I must have concluded that since the e-pawn is blocked, I should put it to a more active square, and I didn't know where to put my light square bishop, and I was under the impression that I could also win material this way. In the end, however, this is a misguided and pointless attack. Now, he writes, d5 is still playable. I don't know why, but I didn't consider it in the game. Okay, so he gives some variations with d5. Also gives some variations with g4. That would be my first question. f6. Snip, snop. Yeah, that's the question right there. And it's definitely a nice position. There's no doubt about that. So, right. Good. That's a good variation, by the way, because g4, after g4, either f6 or f5 is forced. I think it's leading to the same thing. One bummer about this position is, your position is so good that it's a little hard to play even, right? And bishop g5, by the way, doesn't throw anything away. Doesn't really throw anything away. So let's just actually even give your move a try. Okay, and now here's the problem though. When we play queen d2, which is natural, then he gets knight f5, and then he's touching our coconuts a little bit. What did you do? Rook d1. Okay, you didn't want to castle long. All right. And by the way, I really like that you spent time here, right? We looked at your time graph earlier. This is great that you spent some time. And you were looking at knight b5. I assume you looked at d5. You probably also looked at castles here. And that's what the stockfish wants. Actually happens to be the top engine move. Didn't cross my mind at all, not even during analysis. I wonder, is this just a weird computer move, or is it something I should have considered? Now, by the way, I think castles was the first thing came to my mind. But when you played rook d1, I said to myself, it's probably just fine too, right? So your move, let's say the computer likes castles better, because you're going to play king b1 and your king is safe, and you're going to throw your pawns up on the king side. So maybe the intuition should be the reason we should think about castling long is really because I want to play things like g4, h4, h5, right? That's why I would want to castle long. Okay, rook d1. I still like your position. Castles. Now that's a frisky move. But now why aren't we playing g4? All right, so bishop e2. During the game, I contemplated bishop b5. I don't understand that. You end up playing, but what about g4? Isn't that a hassle in the castle, as they say? That looks pretty rough to deal with. I don't know, knight e7? I don't know. And then h4. We want to develop the rook. Now you can see this is why the intuition would be, hey, I want to castle long. But this looks really dangerous for Mr. Black over here. It looks to me like, we're talking to his coconuts over here. So bishop e2, d6. Now g4. Snop. Now here's an interesting question. Have we done ourselves a service here or not? All right, knight d5. I'm not sure. This is getting complicated. Castles. And now dude calmly plays bishop d7. So the issue with this position, I guess, is that it's so complicated and that he's catching up on development. I think it's going to be hard to actually hold on to that pawn on d6. Okay. And you play knight d5. These are great notes. These are really good. And you write more of a result of not knowing what to do than anything else. I thought simplifications will help me make use of the passed pawn. I should have perhaps thought of finding ways to sack my extra pawns in exchange for some positional gains. Right, I don't want bishop e7. Let's take a look at what moves you considered. Bishop e7, knight e5, knight a4, rook fe1. And it seems like you are liking maybe knight a4 best. Knight a4 makes a lot of sense just to plop the guy down on c5. Let's see how your variation goes. Well, knight b8, there you stop. You get him to play knight b8, you stop the variation there, right? You don't need to go any further than that. Yeah, so I think, let's see, is there more stuff here? You talk about knights. I mean, knight c5 is the move. Of course, that's the move. And you're much better. Okay, although I have, well, the issue we should say with knight takes d5 is you've opened up the bishop on d7. Bishop f4. And now this guy plays knight a5, which I don't believe in. I don't believe that move because you're just going to cut him with b3. Maybe you don't even need to cut him. Maybe you don't even need to cut him. And you played knight e5, which is very frisky. Now, one reason to just say we're better after b3 is the knight's horrendous on a5. So knight e5, rook a d8. And then you snip his funky piece. Bishop g5. That wasn't it. Okay. You need to play b3 here, bud. You don't want to allow him to play knight c4. And we can't play rook c1 yet because this coconut is falling. Right? And I think that's a threat. We don't want to allow him to play knight c4. Yeah. So this is a mistake. I don't get that move, too. You call it stupid. And you talk about rook c1, but rook c1 hangs d4. Maybe there's some way you can make it work, but to me, I'm worried about d4. Okay. So now, he baited. So what we're saying is a dirty trick. So rook d6, we have bishop e7. Rook e8, and unfortunately, right. So you played for tricks. Knight c6, bishop e3, and now we got nothing. Now we got to start all over again. Now he doesn't know what he's doing. Now finally you play b3. Note to Bennett, when you can dominate a guy's piece like that, you got a little juice. Okay, rook fe1. Now, knight takes d4. He goes for it. And I was thinking about this. when he played knight c6. I was like, oh, can we even play rook fe1? And knight takes d4, maybe, but wouldn't it be more sensible to play bishop takes d4? At least at the very minimum, that's the safer way to go, right? We take it this way, and I don't know which way you want to take back, but then the big fat knight lands, and it's no puedo, right? No puedo. Okay. So, all right. So knight d4, it scares me because he's pinned. Bishop d4. Could you have played bishop g2? That's what I want to know. And what would black do after yield bishop g2? I think he's put himself in an unnecessarily complex situation, is what I think. Because next move we'll play rook f1, and we're just going to say, are you really getting out of this? And maybe there's some way, but at the minimum, for our analysis, we should try to figure out like if we're going to nail him here, because it looks scary. This, though, doesn't look scary for him. This one looks like he's just hurting us on those dark squares. You talk about queen d2, good. That's the next question. We need to get the pawn back. You talk about bishop c5, bishop d5, rook f6. It's scary. But now you go bishop c4. That doesn't make any sense. He's got to play rook f1. Right? And then we ask ourselves if black basically needs to find something pronto here. You know, I don't see anything concrete though. Maybe we could continue queen d6 threatening this, queen f4, something like this, you know, and claim that we have a little something. No, queen f4 you just take, sorry. So I don't know. That to me seems the key variation. You played king g2. I think he could probably keep his pawn now somehow. Rook e6. Isn't he just losing his pawn with this? Good. I thought that I should be able to win the d pawn, and the position must be equal. I made myself put aside all expectations to win and prepared to fight for a draw. The problem was I didn't have much time on the clock, while my opponent still had plenty. Yeah, here we should say we should be able to hold this thing, better. I think queen d5 is real simple chess. Okay, fine. There's no reason we're actually worse anymore. g5, frisky, but probably okay. Good move, f4. And now, if you want to, you can play queen d4. You said queen c3 check. Okay, now we're talking to him a little bit. No, he's just outplayed himself. He's outplayed himself. Queen f6, very nice. Oh, and now we got a party going on. Rook e4, rook d7. Yeah, as the good book says, the main objective of any operation on an open file is the eventual occupation of the 7th or 8th rank. I like that. So he's referring to the Nimzovich dude, and I've never heard it called the good book. That's pretty good, though, man. Bishop b6. Now I think we're winning. We just got to be a little careful here. Rook b7. Now, I'm going to guess that you didn't play rook f7 because you were concerned with this one, and that you missed that you had the intermezzo rook g7. This, therefore, it's completely the end. It's the end, my friend. And you're not interested in this pawn. This pawn's a chump. You want this one over here. Goodbye, Lucy. Goodbye, Lucy. It's over. Mate. Oh, no. Oh, no. As the good book says, though, I'm going to steal that. So h5. Now we'll play rook f7. Bishop f7. There it is. Game over. Okay. Well done. Well done. That was great. So what we're seeing here is ChessCat is putting in the work. Look at this rating graph. They're doing pretty good. Someday I want to go play chess in Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? Somewhere. All right, here we go. Next up, we have Mate in 35. How long of a show is this today? Oh my God! But we got a novel at the end to read. We got a novel at the end to read, my friends. Oh, truck scores in here. Okay. Onwards and upwards. Might not hit my goal of 1,500 ChessCom by the end of the year, but to be honest, that's not something I'm terribly concerned about. I'm just focusing on the process. Oh, Kraai, you got to fix this, buddy. And playing better chess, and eventually the rating should, hopefully, follow. Highlights since the last graduation. I've played some more OTB, played one brilliant game in which I played with 95% accuracy and mated in 23 moves. Not even, he's moved on from mating in 35 to now mating in 23. He didn't even play that poorly. I just found a really nice mate in 5 by ignoring his threat to win material. My most recent game was really disappointing though. It was very sloppy and once again played too quickly. I think I need to work on my stamina/concentration and develop a checklist. 2, signed up for 2 OTB tournaments, excited about that and to get some real reps in. 3, I've been reviewing my OTB games with people from the club, all of whom are very strong and extremely supportive and helpful, even when I've played embarrassingly bad chess. Hearing and being able to interrogate their thought process has been constructive. Beautiful. Plans going forward. 1, I've got a bit of a backlog of chess books that I should really work through before buying more, so probably more of that. 2, more games and analysis. I think I overdo the tactics by comparison. As an aside for the graduate program, I'd really request Jesse/Kostya to review this game. Fair warning, it was a bad game from me. I also resigned in a draw position, so that's sad. Okay, we can do it. Now let's just see. It might already be in your business, but we're just going to copy paste this bad boy over here. But before we copy paste, we're going to go stalk you. So, oh, look at that. Matt, a Texan living in Germany, dude. How about that? How about that? Okay. So, beautiful heat map. You can tell when the heat map was, by the way, go check out my vid on the heat map, man. Go check that out. Once it was created, people are doing it. So it's a real habit former for everyone involved, including myself. So, checkmate test doing well. Want some tactics tests. His other tactics seem to be fine. Clubs, German dojo, great. You're probably, well, maybe you aren't, but you know, they got those German teams, the clubs over there, man. I recommend you play one of those. And then if you can get that team to have its own scoreboard here, that's what we're looking for, man. That's what we're looking for. You got somebody in that team wants to join the dojo. You got a bunch of people. We'll give you a discount because I am so determined to get teams in here and have their own scoreboard so you can see what your teammates are doing so you can spar together, yada, yada. Okay. So, here we go. Let's look at, we got the game over here. I think I'm just going to copy paste it and see what happens. Boom. There it is. So this is his heartbreaker. And there's the clock. Let's look at the clock here. So not horrendous. Maybe a little too fast at the end. We'll see. We go game review. Here we go. You see this a lot at this level. And C4 is a little frisky. C4 is a little frisky. Yeah, now you play D6. And the reason I think C4 is a little frisky is if you had played D5, the drama is, obviously we're going to get like a Grunfeldy thing going on. But a lot of times the knight will whack the bishop. Your move's fine though. And now knight h5. Good move. Knight d7. Now, I would want to take the bishop on g3 first because the question now becomes, can he ghost your knight with bishop h4? And I don't know the answer to it, and therefore I'd rather just take it. And the idea in all those positions is we're not going to be super terrified of the open h file because our unopposed bishop can kind of hold it together. That's a mistake. Okay, e5, good move. I'm still afraid of bishop h4, though. Good. Thank you for finally taking that thing. And now knight e5 looks good. Nice. Simple and strong. Okay, rook c1, rook e8, simple and strong. Great. Now, I really like your note here. You say, in this position, I wasn't totally sure how to continue. And that's fine. But I like what you said. I felt that based on my piece activity and better pawn structure, I was slightly better, especially then we also have the king in the center problem, right? So this is beautiful. Queen d2. And now you play bishop f5. Yeah, and we have a question. How should you continue in this position? You do play simple chess, and I do appreciate that. I don't know if I want to trade off my bishops, though. So just to share my first intuition on this position, it would be c6 to dominate the knight, and then maybe follow with like a queen b6 or an a5, depending. Bishop f5. Queen d7, logical. That's not right. I thought this couldn't possibly be good. Yep, I agree with you. And now you play bishop d4 and you cut a break. Your opponent didn't see it, and right, bishop f5, and you're toast. Crispy critters, right? Yeah, we're toast. So you did think for a while on bishop d4. Now, what I want to stress is you need to tell us what you think was the right move and what you should have done, right? I think you just go back and say, hey, buddy, you really blew it. I think that's what you should do. Okay. Bishop d4, knight d1, that wasn't it. Oh, I like that move. Good move. e4, and now we're just simply doing great because your bishop's just looking in on him. All right, you played rook e7. I would be interested in knowing whether f5 just immediately knocks him out. To me, it looks like a knockout punch. Yeah, that looks too strong. Rook e7 also looks good. Knight f2, he's messing with us a little bit. Let's just play rook e8. Good move. Oh, I like it a lot. Queen c2. Notice the guy doesn't feel the pain. He doesn't feel the pain that he's under here. Now you played f5. Right, and that's missing, I presume. You miss knight takes g4. Okay. So, what should you do? The basic answer, by the way, remember, when you give yourself a question mark, try to analyze what you should have done. To my mind, for example, bishop f5 looks very strong. At the minimum, next move will take, and it's not just a pawn. We're probably going to win the battle of the e-file. And a nice variation is if he castles, which is what I would want to do if I was white. I'll simply take and say, nobody, you do not get to get rid of my beautiful bishop. My bishop is there for life. He's never going away, son. I'm coming in. I'm coming in. Okay. So knight g4, we blew it. Now, I still like your position, but things have gone a little awry. One reason I still like it is the king on e1 is still really poor. And now you get frisky with d5, and I have a feeling you missed c takes, queen takes, bishop c4. But now you saw it. And you write it down there. You missed cd4. Again, tell us what you think you should have done, and what, because the eval here is really interesting. Namely, we have to crack white open somehow. And so in our analysis, there's a really interesting question about how we do it, right? I'm a little exhausted, by the way. I've been up since 4:20. Not that 4:20, but the 4:20 a.m. And queen c6 looks interesting. c5 looks interesting. We want to talk about which one of those is the path forward. Learning how to smoke people in a position like this. Oh, very important stuff. Good. I like that. He shouldn't have allowed that. check to the miserable king. Oh man, that could be rough. Boom. We're playing some interesting tactics. Rook g7. This was the only way I saw that prevents mate. Dang. That's amazing. Let's see if that's true. So what he's saying is on bishop f4, he's got bishop c4, king f8, and then it's all bad. Everything is bad. Oh, no. Oh, no. Now, is this true? Oh, this is terrible. The milk's gone bad. This d6 thing was amazing because this is not only doing this, but it's also doing this. Oh, no. Exclam. Exclam. That was a great move by your opponent. Simple chess, and now all of a sudden we're toast. Oh, no. Oh, that's unfair. That is unfair. Oh, man. Your opponent got a little lucky, man. He got a little lucky. Blibup writes, the kimono is open. Yeah, here it is. Oh, no. Now we're crispy critters. Wait, but he didn't have to allow that. Queen d3. All he has to do is play queen c3. Oh, no. Okay, so he gives it back. Oh, we're not dead yet. And you call this equal. Now, what do I think? I think white's got to be better here because his king's better and he's going to go win your coconut. Talk about rook d7 or rook f7. I think those would be better. You're in trouble, though. I'm not sure I like king b5 or get it. g5. It's at least a thought. In general, this would be a fine move, but it allows the king to infiltrate to the 6th rank. But tell us, what do you want to do? Rook e6? I mean, it's a painful situation here at this momentito. That's kind of a clever move. By the way, your opponent played some blunders, but also played some interesting moves. Now he played rook e6. I would want to analyze h5. So just in the same way that this guy's going to get a little activity, and we can't really stop it, when we play h5, h4, we're going to get some juice too. So now rook c1 is the big question. He goes h1. Makes no sense because this just simple threat, simple fix. Exactly. So rook c1 was better. Oh, he goes passive. Now, let me just stress, you're going to get a lot of chumps like this who don't appreciate the value of activity. Let's hope you played h4. What happened? Okay. He's just messing around. Rook d6. I think this was a strong move. Why can't we play h4? Pass pawns must be pushed. Okay. a6. Why can't we play h4? Why can't we play h4? Why can't we play h4? Wait. Now, with this move, what you just did is you helped him create a passed pawn. So that scares the bejesus out of me. He's just funking around. Okay, this is now a difficult position. You should be able to hold it. You talk about rook g5. My basic sense of this is also that, well, rook g5 is very concrete. So imagine, here's the variation you give. e5, g3, e6, g2, e7, and this kind of thing. But also just note that rook e8 should also be okay, because we're going to get counterplay here. Good move. But now, what your opponent's doing is playing with the active king and pawn. This is still should be fine for you, though. I don't understand. King G5, you're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. So the basic way to draw this position is to say, oh, I will force the rook to give itself up, and then I will if I need to, if and when I need to, I will sacrifice my own rook. Now I'm scared. Now you say black resigns. I didn't know at the time, but this is actually drawn position. Should I have known? Well, you should have at least tried. You should have at least tried. Yeah. And the bummer, what you can see too is what I wanted earlier. I wanted the king to go up and be the shepherd of the pawn. And this is a very important thing you're seeing here, is the black king is what we call shouldering the white king here. And you talk about rook g7, you know, fine, let's go through it. Boom, boom, boom. See, notice the white, if the white king could make progress here, it'd be a different story. Rook f7 doesn't really help because you just get closer. See, and so there's a great example of this word shouldering that you learn. And we have positions in the Dojo Training Program that actually are very similar to this, which have the same idea. So that we're going to call an instructive ending. And, we're going to yell at you a little bit here. Look at this. See, this is a typical dojo problem. People get to the end game, and they're like, oh, it's easy. No, it's very difficult. You can see, actually, one of the great things you can see is in these variations you did, it's a little involved. In fact, no, there's some real thinking involved. It's not an intuitive thing. No, there's some deep calculation, move for move. You got to get deep into it. And instead, people are like, I can't take it, Bose. That's too hard of calculation. And I know it's hard, but you got to, when I see this time graph, I know both sides aren't even trying. Okay, so let's go back. Grad show. This, and I get out of here. That was good. Mate nice. Now we have the famous truck score. I am going to take a little bit of a break, though, just to get my throat something. I've been up in the 420 club, so I'll be right back.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he's got more follows than my boy Eric Icy. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
hack, and
Mouse.
he got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board. It's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless. He rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction. The status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis. With lengthy game analysis, with sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work work never stop. Now occasionally he peeps the world of the tweak and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training hours a day, playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I give up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, rating's what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo!
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he's got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
hack in?
Mouse.
He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvork, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truan. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes, true not over the board. It's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless. He rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction. The status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo.
All right, my friends, I'm back. Yes, it's been a long day, my friends. It's been long. Truck Score. Took a full break from chess. Dang, I remember Truck Score. You were in it, boss. And now I was like, where'd Truck Score go? Everybody was like, boss, where did Truck Score go? Took a full year break from chess, but came back looking to improve as I did previously. Hoping to establish my elite chess, get training partners, and in the new year, we'll get back to OTB. I feel I've forgotten some of the things I'd memorized, and visualization can be improved, but I'm still feeling tactically sharp and feeling that hunger for chess again. The WCC streams have been awesome, thank you, and I miss the senseis. My bad habit is consuming chess media or chessable content rather than doing the hard work. Excited to tackle all the content the cohort has to offer, and I'm confident I'll reach my chess goals with the dojo's help. Nice. Okay, let's give this a click over here. So, there's Truck Score. A young man. A young man. Oh, and also doing the powerlifting. Nice. I'll tell you a story. You know, I'm no power lifter or anything, but I was at, I go to the gym, and I was at a plateau. In the same way I think you can get to a plateau with chess stuff. And I was on a plateau with the squat and the deadlift. And I think it actually came, the breakthrough was the squat, because I have an ankle problem because I'm an old man. I got ankle mobility thing. I was just sitting in a deep, like, Asian squat with a kettlebell in my hand, rolling that thing around and around. Then I got a wrap on the thing, and I just started making massive progress. And then after that progress happened, then the deadlift progress happened. And it was like, holy crap. Because I was stuck, dude. I was stuck for, like, I don't know, a year and a half at the same thing, dude. And then it just kind of like broke through, and I'm like, holy crap, now here we go. Here we go. Okay, so You can see, my friends, that Truckscore was not kidding when he said he took a break. Look at that. And sometimes you need a break. And he had a little jump even after this break. So that was really cool. There he is in Canada. And got a similar rating, the Canadian. Just done one of our famous checkmate tests, but now he's back. Maybe he'll do a little bit more. Clubs, Canada and CFC. We want to know where in Canada, though, Bows. We want to know where. Has been rededicating himself over here, as you can see. That looks good. Let's see if we got a game. We do. Let's go look. All right. Fellow dojo member, second game, great game, good postmortem. Okay, good. Clocks. All right, let's show it. That looks pretty good. So truck score, and this is what happens. You get a dojo game. This is why it's so much. If you're going to play online and you want to do a classical, you got to do a dojo game. Those other people you play online, they're not going to do no postmortem. They might be cheating, and you know you're just not going to get a quality think out of it like truck score got in this game. All right, game review. All right, here we go. So far, so good. Fine. Bishop d3 is a little weird, but you are developing, so I'm not going to tell you nothing. Bishop g7. A little funky. Felt like I was starting to doubt my moves. I was going to simply develop bishop e3, but knight g4 hit the bishop and gave me grief. Okay, so I think one approach to that would be to say, hey, let's put the bishop somewhere else, like bishop g5, because you do want to default to developing. But all right, here we go, h3, good move, knight c6, knight b3, right? So imagine you could have also played, anyways, Kraai, let it go. All right, bishop e6, fine, bishop e3, good. Rook c8, good move. Black, by the way, is just following a very simple idea of how to set up the pieces. f4, good move. And black now loses their mind and plays bishop d7. The question, I think, should be, what about knight a5? So that any kind of f5 is met with bishop c4. Bishop d7, no puedo sense make. That's not it. So you just won a full clean tempo on him. However, now you have to come up with an idea of how to play the position. And f5, in general, you should be skeptical of, because you're giving him the e5 square. It's almost like he was trolling you into playing f5. Okay, so does Kraai have a better idea? One simple thing to do is, I want to prevent him from playing knight a5. So whatever I do, I want to kind of have my eye on that. So for example, queen e2, knight a5, can I take? I don't know, I think so. Also on queen e2, someday, I want to be looking to play knight d5. Maybe I can even do it now, but the point would be to put the knight there, then put the pawn here, and say that if you take, I'm going to get this business going. Right? Okay, so f5, controversial. Probably unnecessary. a4. Okay, let's play knight e. He wants knight e5. There he comes. Queen d2. I'm not sure I like it. Now he should definitely play knight c4. Why doesn't he? Because he's terrified of bishop h6. And the great rule of thumb here is, unless bishop h6 mates you, you shouldn't worry about it. This is, well, white's good bishop. And knight c4 is annoying because if you don't take, you kind of have to take it. Then the rook comes and looks at you. He starts doubling, then tripling. And that's the standard Sicilian drama that we got. Truck score. I got a favor. Make that Ottawa Chess Club, man. Make that Ottawa Chess Club. I've been to a lot of cities in Canada, but I've never been to Ottawa. So I could come and visit the Ottawa Chess Club. Rook 81, sensible. Rook f8, he's not making sense. And it's interesting. Now you're like, I'm not going to play bishop a6. I'm not going to do it if he doesn't want to let me do it. So knight d4 is principled. But you could make, by the way, even here too, you can make progress with, I think a5 is a building move because you have ideas of bishop b6. You could also play knight d4 immediately. So rook a d1, not sure I like it. Rook f8, no one understands. Knight d4, it's at least plausible. And now he needs to do it. Knight c4, snip, snap, b3, interesting, boom. And he goes for it. Now, one of the things about dragon players is if they read a book on the dragon, a good book, then this will be, as you say, on their radar. This is the thing they do. Usually, though, we black like to shatter the pawns when we do it. So I'm not 100% convinced yet by this. Queen d3. And yeah, he wants to grab the pawns, but he's going to lose his coconuts in the process. And is he just lost after g4? Now, if he is, then he needed to consider gf, but because this looks crispy critters. Am I missing something? Knight f2. Queen f3, thank you very much. Knight d1. gf, beautiful. Beautiful chess, well done. And now he's gone. Okay, e6. Now you play rook d1. And the question is, would you get away with fe? Would you get away with fe? It seems like you do, right? Because his knight's still trapped. Yes, there's a check, but you just scooch. And on fe, you can take this knight that way. Okay, so you take, and now I thought he was going to play queen f5. Now, to be fair, this is still crushing. This is still crushing. But queen f5 is the move he wants. Yeah. All right. Rook e8. It's still a little hectic. Good move. As long as he's not mating you. As long as he's not mating you, then I'm okay with this. Good. Now we have queen f1. Queen d3. Maybe it also works. Good. Quiet. Your move's fine. Well, that ain't it. And now we're just running. Oh, nice move. Good. This is a crispy critter situation. That's a little fancy. Good. Oh, you're playing this good chess. Okay, in general, we want to put the pawns on b5, a5, a6, so b5 would be indicated here. Now, let's go back and look at the time. Are you rushing this? 41. Yeah, you're rushing this truck score. So I want to stress, this is a disease that plagues all players at this level. They get to the end game and they're not thinking. So just to show it again, we've had 10 moves, actually, where you have plenty of time, boss. You have plenty of time. And just note, it's anxiety because you have to calculate. It's not just intuitive. You got to calculate. And there was some hairy stuff that went down in the last 10 moves. And you just played it super fast, boss. So there it is. An easy way to improve your game is slowing down. Good move. And resigns. Okay, that was good, man. All right. So, well done. Truck score. Welcome back to the dojo, buddy. Welcome back. That's great. So, Carson is loving the mate and twos. My confidence in king hunts and attacking has gone way up. There we go. Very nice. Look at that, dude. That's what we're saying, Carson. Look at that heat map. Look at that thing. Carson's working well. All right. Looking good over here. Wanting to do some tactics tests. Clubs. ADHD Dojo. Fine. And then we got over here. Vanquish the Rentier. Vanquish the Rentier. Do we have a clock? Yes, we do. Let's take a look. Not looking bad, Carson. Will we see, though, this typical pattern that when they got to move 23 and as an end game, did they just stop thinking? Will that be what we see? We're about to find out. Stay tuned. We are about to find out. Okay. D6 is not a mistake. The dojo, okay, so the dojo, he's calling it a mistake because the dojo Sicilian repertoire gives something else. And now I think E5 is horrendous, yeah. So your opponent misses E5 and you correctly play E6. Now you're back in, let's call it normal territory, I think. E5, snip, snip, here, King E7. Could we play King E8 instead? I think we want King E8. But okay, King E7, we're going to give it a try. Might be fine. I'm worried about, like, it's probably fine. Bishop E3. Knight B7. Good. Good. Now you're doing great. You won a pawn. Let's put the bishop on C6. Okay, fine. That doesn't do anything. Good move. Now you're killing him. Good move. Nothing. Nothing. There you go. Now the only thing you have to realize is you can't castle. You might have tried to castle here, and then they wouldn't let you do it. So King E7, we don't want this. Maybe the simplest is just to play Rook G8. Now, something I want to stress to understand in this position. I just realized. So first, the stress. You should realize that your king is an asset here. It's not a liability. Especially if you can trade off a piece or something, you're doing great. So the simple way to play would just be to go Rook G8, trade the business off, and realize that this knight, he doesn't have no squares. This guy's not doing anything to you either. So your king is going to be able to really control all the business. All right, King E7, check. Knight D7. And you talk about bishop F8, but you can do bishop F8 later. Yeah. Knight E4. Good move. Okay, now we're in a little trouble. And so, right. You're right, bishop F8. How did this happen, though, is because we lost so much time. That's a really nice move. And that could be a real, oh, man. Now, bishop E5. You might still be kind of sort of okay. He needs to come up with something interesting. For example, this thing, is it really that bad? I don't know. I don't know. Because remember, your king is working and his king isn't. So, for example, maybe bishop A6 is something to worry about. But let's say I do a weenie move like knight B8. Well, I'm threatening rook D8 or something. You know? Yeah, I'd like to play rook D8. If I get rook D8, I'm fine. And then if he goes here, well, he better worry about bishop takes A4. See, so our king, it's hard to mate our king. It's hard to do it. So I think you're still doing fine here. Rook C2, that wasn't it. Rook D8, I think that's okay. And now he does it. And now you can just snip and snap. Thank you very much. Boom. Simple chess, good move. I like that one. Uh-oh. Did we miss that? So, wait a second. Better, stronger would have been knight E5. Right? Let's put that in there. So bishop F, that's a little sad. Snip, snap. That wasn't it because you just come back. Thank you. Knight E5 now. Great. Now you're crushing him. A5. Simple chess. Simple chess. B4. Question is, could you win the bishop? I don't see it yet, though. Let's just pause for a momentito, actually. Look at this. Here's a move. Bam! So whenever you see the bishop over there, you want to see if you can trap the dude. And so that's not possible because of knight d4. And then when they go here, you go whack, and look at that, whack, whack. And then the friend is coming in, my friend. Yeah. So b4. Of course, you're winning this. Nice move. Okay. So, fascinating stuff. And I think one of the lessons there should be not about the opening, but the fact that your king, it's very hard to actually mate you when you're in that position. So, for example, you might feel terrible here, but unless the dude mates you, you're actually going to be more than fine. And of course, you're up a pawn. Okay, so well done. Let's continue. Next up, we have Benwick. Benwick, dude, has been graduating a lot. Benwick writes, I'm finding the round robin tremendously helpful for getting classical games in. This element of the program is, I'm sure, going to be critical and should be nourished. We are working on it. Above all, my recent progress is being helped, I think, by better mindset of focusing on what the current position demands. Not the outcome of the game, not wishful or calamitous thinking, but practical choices. This is one of many reasons why the relative lack of focus on openings in the dojo at my level is a good thing. Avoiding too much opening theory too early helps avoid perfectionism and trains practicality. My words, my friend, my words. Listen to Benwick. I have to say, actually, when we look at the well, actually, I'm gonna open Benwick and then I'll give my spiel. So, we look at Benwick. See, he's just doing a little bit of opening. Now, sometimes though, one of the real I don't know if it's innovation. It's just a small tweak I want to make. Is like, I really want this. When instead of it showing non-dojo, I want it to show, like, let's say he was doing opening work that wasn't part of the dojo. I would want it to present as opening work, but with a line through it. That way, because the white doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't tell me what kind of thing he's doing. So, Jack, Jalp, my developer team, help me fix that problem. Help me fix it. All right. So, former investment professional. Nice. Okay. I'm fascinated by investment people just because I got this philosophical belief that you can't beat the market. But, he's out. Now he's out working for charity. All right. So there's his ECF. Looking good. The dojo gospel. That's right. So actually, let's see. Dojo points. So right. Yeah. A lot of times, you can work on something and like I can work on annotating a game a week long. And so if you looked at my dojo points, it wouldn't be that revealing. Whereas the hours work to be like, oh, right, this is what it is. Okay, so we had those clubs. We have the activity. Look at this. Fantastic. Benwick has been doing the work for sure. Now we're going to go games. We got loads. And we got Benwick right here. I'm thinking about this one just because now they're about the same length, actually. So, Sanjay asked, do you run this classes only on YouTube or some other app also? We also have a streaming at the same time on the Twitch. Okay, so let's do this. Boom. We'll take a look at the time graph. There it is. Looks reasonable, Mr. Benwick. Looks reasonable. So on a physical board in front of computer, great. The next level, of course, are those e-board things. But if you can't get that, just having the physical board up there, really good. So let's take a look. The French, I think, is going to see a resurgence after this World Championship, my friends. So here we go. Bishop d3, a little bit weird. I've been playing the French since the last millennium, and I didn't even know this was called the Schlechter variation. Fine. Good. Tempo. Fine. Fine. Good chess. Queen d5. A rook b8 looks fine to me too, but all right. So, interesting endgame. I would rather be black in this position just because my king is out and the light square bishop looks strong. Not sure that's a good thing for white. You go f6. I'm sure b4 is playable. a6. So you say bishop b7 is too slow. I kind of doubt it. Let's put our bishop there and see what happens. Now, is it true what we're saying here? Let's say I just play king d7. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So knight b5, that's a chump move. You know, that's a chump move. And notice, one of the things, actually, we'll see how it goes in the game, too, because I still like your position after a6. But I'm interested, Benwick, in did you castle or not? I'm hoping you didn't. I'm hoping you left the king. Castling long is fine. But I'm hoping you didn't discombobulate the king. See, now you got to play bishop d6 anyway. By the way, why did I mention that? Because bishop d6 is another answer to the knight b5 stuff. So definitely a mistake, not developing. Bishop b7, very nice. Dojo way, f3. The problem for him is, first of all, f3, it's not a dumb place to put the pawn. You talk about bishop d6 and knight a4, maybe. Good variation, by the way. I like this variation you give with boom, boom, boom. And one of the things to stress about this position is if you don't have b5 here and you analyze b5, you still have knight d7 and you're doing great, right? By the way, I do not agree that white is better here. Why would white be better? We're doing fine here. We're going to put our king on e7. We will have an active king. They will not. Our bishop is amazing. Okay. So f3. I think your position's fine, by the way. Snip. Okay. Now this, with full development guaranteed, black can afford to take control of matters, open up the board, and create a weak pawn on e5. Okay. I think I'm okay with this. I think castling long is also okay. f4, and now we want castles long. Good move. He needs a good move right now. Knight g3. I'm going to say that's not a good move. If I was white in this position, I'd really want to play b4 to prevent you from playing knight c5. So, knight g3, rook g8. What, dude? What, dude? What, dude? What are we doing? Knight c5. Look at this Dow. We open up the Dows. Who let the dogs out? Woo, 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 woo. Who let the dogs out? Come on. Rook hg8. Thought for 6 minutes, too. Didn't even consider knight c5. Knight e4. Now he's kind of getting back in the game. f5, frisky. And now it's going to get a little hot here with knight g5. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. So, rook ad1, h6, and now it's a question, can he do anything spicy to you? Maybe he can, but it's whenever we put our knight on f8, we don't know. So, he does nothing good. Now you bring your king to e7. Great. Notice, your king is just better. The knight on c3, a complete chump. So white did nothing, and now we're going to go put our knight on d7. Also, g5 now looks good. Did you do it? Oh. Oh. Now, maybe you are better after bishop takes f3, but let's just pause for a moment and just note that that bishop is so strong. And it's like we got a communication ceremony happening this way. And so g5 looks deadly. I mean, he's saying he ain't going to survive that because we're going to have this coming later. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, so bishop f3. I don't like it. g5. Snip. Snap. Okay, so now white has to find, here will be interesting to see, does white find a way to activate their knight or not? King f2. Well, how are you going to deal with knight g6? Here he comes. Passive. I predicted that. Now knight f4, my friend. Boom. Rook d1. Now rook h8. Ooh, knight g6. Rook e1. Rook d8. If we go back one move, rook h8. That's what they sometimes call the problemito in the casito. That position right there. I think it's close to this. Well, it's getting close to what they call, that's crispy critters. That's crispy critters right there. Done. Okay. Your position's still amazing. Oh, that's gross. That's really gross. He can't be. Oh, man. Don't do that. Like rook e2 first. Good move. Now we found it. Oh, I like the way you worked him here. b3 wasn't it? Oh, knight d3. Of course, well, let me just say simpler to me seems rook takes h2 because you're dominating everything once that happens. This is also winning, though. Good. Good. All right, now it's time to mop him up. Let's hope it happened easily. Easy chess. Beautiful. Okay, Benwick, that was great, dude. That was great. Actually, I'm coming out with a Chessable course. I just finished recording and everything. Who knows? Those people in Europe, dude, they take forever to do their things. But a lot of it had to do with time, and I didn't actually do too many examples with the king. But what was interesting there was just that you got ahead in time and you gave him some time, like your a6 move, for example. But he was not able to do anything with it. Okay. So I also liked your opening. That was great. All right, great. Let's move on. Next up, we got 4 more people. Let me hit the right button. So I'm getting back into Dojo and graduating to get it to the level I'm currently at. Let's see what's going on with Matt. Let's give him a follow. Hasn't been too active. Well, dude, the dude's at 1624, man. He's ready to be up to the next level already. Has done 2 tactics tests. He could probably do better than that. It's crushing over here. Clubs. European. Square off e-board. Oh, Hammersmith. Nice. Okay. Now, what we want from Matt is that he gets this Hammersmith thing going on. Now, it's funny, we have a different Matt called Houseline. Is this the same guy? Is this the same guy? He's in chat and he says this is him. Okay, good. So Matt is helping us with getting the word out about the dojo. We're very thankful for that. And with anybody who works with us, we want them to be in the program doing stuff. And so it's cool to see that Matt is actively doing it. And really, it looks like if Matt holds this rating, he's ready to go up another notch pronto, right? Because look at that. Look at that. He got all the way up to there, 1926. Good. All right. So we had the clubs, Hammersmith. We want him to recruit people from the Hammersmith Club. That's who we want. All right. He's living in this rainy island now, like off the coast of France. Rainy, rainy place. It's like David left his rainy part of France, and Houseline, a.k.a. Matt, was like, I want to go to a rainy part of France, you know. So he's living in rainy France. All right, activity. Lots of games analysis, looking good. All right. And then, yeah, let's go games. We got one. Here's Houseline playing black. Ooh, 10 plus 5. 10 plus 5. Wait, let me, actually, Matt, maybe you can direct me. But this is kind of sad. Because, first of all, looks like a real game. And then this is some chump game. And he's playing a 10-5? Matt. Oh, man. Yeah. Top is a tournament rapid game. Okay, here we go. So first, we're going to take a look. There's our time graph. Now, Matt, just to note to self, in general, what we say is this doesn't count for the dojo because you're at a high enough level now that this shouldn't count. We're going to look, but it's too quick Too quick to actually count for dojo points. All right, game review. Well, the French is making a comeback, my friends. C3, a little weird. Check to the miserable king. Fine. Fine. Bishop E3. Yeah, it's probably okay to play bishop E3. It's a little funky. Knight D5. Bishop D2, poor. So white, if they're going to play this way, they want to play queen D2 and rook C1, right? Because this is a loss of time. Castles. Bishop C4. Now, are you winning a pawn after knight B6? Right, and then you wrote that. Good. So, when you're playing a 10-minute game, boss, you know, it's going to be hard to make the right move. So, snip. Now, what I want you to see about this snip, Matt, very important, is when you do this, you are losing a tempo, right? I just want you to feel it. You'd be like, Krai's going to yell at me because I lost the tempo. Now, you're still doing fine because white played this weird bishop d2 thing, but we do have a problem now to solve with your bishop on c8. Good move. This is what we call a hanging pawns position. Good move. h6. I don't like it. Why don't I like it? Because it's a tempo. What do I want you to do? I want you to play something like rook c8. However, you do need to calculate whether bishop h7 is actually a thing. Now, maybe it is, but maybe it isn't. So, for example, usually with the bishop h7 stuff, you generally need a pawn on e5 for it to work out. Now, maybe it does work out for dude here. Let's just give it a check. First of all, is it frightening? Oh, it's frightening. But especially in analysis, we want to see if it works. It looks scary, by the way. I'm not going to deny it. It looks very scary. Oh, man. It's too scary for me, actually, Matt. It's too scary. So I might even ratify your h6. I don't want to. I don't want to, but I might. All right, h6, here we go. Queen c1. That's a chump move. And really the standard play for white in a position like this would be to reorganize the queen to threaten this and force g6 to happen. So queen c1 chump move, rook c8, not fearing bishop h6. And you're right, I missed the full danger here, but rook c8 is the refutation of bishop h6, only because on one idea I had the right ideas, but didn't sew them together quite right. So bishop h6, boom, nice move. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Bishop e4. And you're right, I wanted all the attackers gone. I didn't really think about bringing my pieces back. Well, wait a second. Why is bishop e4 marked with a question mark? Because knight d5, bishop d2, he just won a coconut. So here, and then you play queen f6, and then you've lost your pawn. Okay, so momentito, Matt. Maybe knight b4 is genius level, but let's just say, especially in what's almost a blitz game, the safe move has got to be queen f6, instead of rook c8. Yeah, then this queen c1 is just a superficial move. So rook c8, bishop h6, knight b4. This is scary and hairy, and my name might be Jerry. Because when you take, the rook comes in, and then it's like, oh no. Queen f6. Okay. And now you say bishop g5 is a mistake. Rook g4, of course, is very powerful, but we have to say at this point that dude has won a pawn. And rook g4 does look crushing. Of course, he misses it. Both sides are gonna miss a lot when you're playing this fast. Now rook takes c3 looks playable, or knight d5. Boom. Or knight c2. You got that move too. Knight h4. Now we can take the queen. Good move. Good move. And now we're winning. And then he's going to flag in a little bit. All right. Good chess. So, Matt, we need you, boss, to play some longer games and do some analysis. It's the dojo way. It's the dojo way, Matt. Yeah, and the good news is, Matt, there's the good news, is that when we go back, you're really ready to graduate again. And what I would encourage you to do is, before you graduate again, right, to do a bunch of game analyses, right, and then I'll take a look. And then doing the game analysis, yeah, you get a real sense of what the dojo, the spirit of the dojo is about, you know. Sitting on that rainy island, I'm sure we can get you some good games, Bob. Hey, I don't even know. You set up that wooden board, get a dojo member here to play you. Oh, man, it'll be a fight. Okay, so great. Congratulations, Matt. Next up, we have Rubinstein. Play on the famous Rubinstein. And Rubinstein's been doing a lot of tactics. Did some games. That's kind of like, he's checking in on the dojo over here, Rubinstein. So, dude has a FIDE rating. This is where their FIDE boost back in the beginning of the year. Got a tactics rating. Good. He's got a strong tactics rating. And he's been doing all these greens. So that's good. Clubs, nothing. Games, a couple. Let's take a look. Pastime and Rubinstein. Here we go. A little time graph. Looks reasonable. As we go up the rating ladder, we should expect to see more and more reasonable time graphs. We mark as reviewed. Okay, here we go. So far, so good. Fine. A little frisky. I'm not familiar with the quid. This is not a good move. I should have played d5 to prevent white from getting a big center. Now, one thing that's interesting, well, I have a feeling, by the way, that if you looked in the database of old master games, there would be some people who played c5, because back in the day, they didn't appreciate how bad the Benoni was. But what they did appreciate was that when d5 happens, the real drama for you is that your bishop is getting the, I was going to say the wall, I was going to say the nut. And then I was like, Kraai, you don't want to say the nut. You're getting the wall on d5, okay? Too many nuts. There's all these coconuts and stuff. All right, e4. Now, you're not lost. You just have less space. Knight d7, okay? Good. I think it might be too much to ask of your position to play g6 here. Now, this might also actually be too much to ask, I just noticed. If white had found snip, snop, knight g5, I guess you could abjectly play knight f8. Yeah. All right, bishop d. The man develops. Castle. So it would have been simpler for you to take on d5 and go about your business. Knight g4. Interesting. Interesting. h3 kind of helps you do what you want to do. And whenever you have less space, like here, we got to be thankful to trade some stuff off. Bishop e2. I'm a fan of that move. Bishop f6, very nice. Bishop e3, I don't know. By the way, here you're just in a complete lack of annotations. And there's stuff to talk about here. There's stuff to talk about. Queen e7. Okay. Okay, poor move. Knight d5. So, for example, this is something to talk about because the bishop is poor. And what does white do? Oh, he frees it up. Thank you very much. And now we're doing fine. Queen e6. Do I like it? I don't know. I would want to put my queen here so that I could play knight c6 at a soon moment. A moment soon. So that a soonish moment. So I could play knight d4 after. Okay. This is cool, but we're losing a pawn. So here, I think, well, you got to play bishop e7, which is, of course, sad because you didn't want to do it. Now, you're still, even though you're going to lose this pawn, yeah, it's sad to lose this pawn. Knight d4, good try, and that's the correcto move. Boom, boom. It's actually a very interesting tactical situation because he doesn't have time to take on b6. So that's, or to take on d4. So those are both good pieces of news for you. Good. Now, arguably, you have enough. Well, white's better, but we can argue that you have some compensation for the pawn. All right, here we go. Knight e6, rook d8, bishop d8, bishop b8. Okay, now, this is actually a very fascinating endgame. I think you're now lost, okay, and that you should have tried to keep the business on. I get it, it's not easy. And so, how did it all go? Boom, boom, boom. The bishop f4 is a good move. Bishop f4 was a good move. One thing is we might want to be taking back, well, yeah, maybe it's just bad news. Okay. I'm not sure I get it. Not sure I get it. Okay, frisky. Good. I think this thing, well, he needs to play e5 right now. Good. And now I think we're toast. White's playing this pretty well, actually. Look at that. Bishops, my friend. Bishops. That was clever, but it doesn't work. Okay, so interesting game. Some moves at the end I thought played with good skill from your opponent. And yeah, you were fully, besides the poor opening, you're fully back in the game right around here. Yeah, you're just all the way in. And then, especially here, you're just totally fine. But you end up losing your mind on the d6 pawn unnecessarily, right? Okay. Good one, Rubinstein. And I think, you're going to make progress. Hopefully, I said a couple things that are helpful for your game here. Tristan Heikes. Same as last rating band. I'm just climbing the rapid ratings very fast. I promise I'll stop playing and actually learn when the increases stop. Okay. So, looking good, Tristan. And let's see if I go dojo points, if it's different. No. So joined fairly recent. Hasn't logged too much. Maybe we're not going to see any games. No. So dude is playing rapid games and crushing all these fools. That's a weird graph. I don't know what's going on there. But he has made it. So yeah, Tristan, we're hoping to see soon what's going on with your training. And now, my friends, the big show, the big novel here, guys. The big novel. Yeah, this is pretty fun. So, finally, I thought you knew. I also get to graduate. For who remembers me since last year, I joined this cohort despite being underrated. Part of the reason why is that my OTB was outdated, and I decided to make the decision of the cohort based on my ChessCom rating instead, which was at the very least a recent rating, which was around 2150 at the time, plus minus, depending on the period. If I would feel I was overrating after playing OTB, I would have eventually switched to a lower cohort. I attempted to follow many tasks. I was a huge fan of the woodpecker, which definitely made me a lot better at tactics and raised both my blitz and rapid online ratings. But I also like very much the Polgar Mate and 2s, as they definitely helped me having a sharper tactical vision. The other things I did are mostly shown on the work graph. Just one thing, the amount of work I did over the opening is probably very undercounted. I've worked on those a lot more than I actually took count of in my training plan, both due to laziness to check out every time, but also for the shame. I was not following the program as intended, but distorting the trading plan in a way I most wanted. There could be some hundreds of hours not inserted there. Why so much focus spent on the openings? You probably don't need to ask if you look at some of my games. The point is multiple. I want to get good, fighting positions out of the opening, whether against lower-rated players, similar-rated players, or higher-rated players. 2, I never want to lose because of the opening. This is a hard point for me. I just do not want to get steamrolled by anyone out of the opening, not even a title player. Which is not to say that I do not accept to lose at all in a game, just I wish it happens for weaknesses in other areas, not because I attempted defense with black and white checkmates me at move 25. 3, the most important probably, I want to understand the middle games. The opening study definitely has changed over time. There are some very great resources on Chessable, taught from super GMs or even Carwan himself, which will not teach you just the opening. I like studying openings because with the resources nowadays, it is a way for me to understand chess way more deeply. The well-made courses do not just teach you how to do some setup or endless lines of theory, but they also teach you about dynamics of the position, compensation, time, provoking of weaknesses, the importance of controlling key squares, when it is okay to give up the bishop pair, when it's not, or what is the long-term plan against some Sicilian. So definitively, that kind of study helped me to get better at chess by 360 degrees. When I was getting good positions outside of the openings basically every game, especially playing, for example, online, but I was struggling afterwards. Finally, I attempted to switch properly on the several other areas of the program for which the tasks I marked the last 6 to 8 months would be most accurate for every area. Still, my time spent on middle games is lacking, and this is a point I will try to work hard the following months, besides always practicing tactics, which has led me to become a better player as well. How well did I go? I do not know how much I could have gone better, frankly. With 29 rated OTB games this year, my rating went from 1797 to over 2000. That's amazing. Not only that, but my performance rating over all these games this year has been 2132. So with a level of play not only above 2000, but also above 2100 as well. Even though my games were not free of mistakes, and even though my attitude could be improved, I am not sure of what I was doing could be objectively criticized. I am not a kid, however. I played chess since I was a kid, and I entered FIDE rating above 1800 15 years ago. I did not study or practice chess at that time besides playing tournaments, so it will be no surprise that 1800 had been mostly a plateau for me, and I eventually stopped playing chess for almost 10 years. When I got back, the training program was definitely motivating for me in suggesting what to study, what to practice, and this time, unlike to when I was a kid, I studied and practiced chess, and I am happy that finally I can see my work paid off. I will link these games as annotated games. I like more of my most recent ones. So he's going to give me a game or two, and we'll pick out one of those. That said, I feel I have a lot of points where to improve. I do not pretend I play perfectly or anything like that. I know there are several possible ways of improving the way I play, and it is the thing I will spend my efforts on to hopefully push for the next graduation and beyond. At last, I believe I still lack proper tournament experience, as I have not played too many games, so that is something to improve. But nevertheless, I'm grateful of the online experience as well, for example, in the dojo tournaments, because very often I encountered high-rated opponents, and the practice there for me was very valuable. Not far less than OTB. And I think it takes at least a part of the credit in my progress, because despite online games may not be as valuable as OTB, for me they had the benefit I could play them out without the psychological stress of the rated games. And so I was able to practice a lot without the stress of my OTB rating, and in my opinion, such things contributed positively to my experience. Okay, great. So, okay, so let's see here. Maybe we'll just pick one here. Boom. We'll just pick this one. And we're going to go look at his business over here. So boom, boom. Dude is doing the work. Okay, so here he's got this amazing FIDE rating, and he's gone up here. This is beautiful. Now, got an amazing tactics rating as well. That's a very strong rating right there. To get that on the tactics test is very impressive. Okay, good. So, now we want to go, actually first clubs. I kind of want to know where he is. So we don't know where I thought you knew is. Maybe he's lurking in the chat. Here's the games. We have a game already ready we're going to do. Activity. What we're going to do is just see how he did it in this cohort. So 1900, 2000. Dude did 550 hours in this. So this is the real work. Okay. And as he said, maybe there's more opening work in there than is represented in the graph. Otherwise, this looks good. Now, one thing I want to stress is when you get to 2000, a lot of times people say, they'll say like Dojo doesn't let you do openings. Very important to stress that once you get up to where I thought you knew is, we definitely have a lot of opening work we want him to do. In fact, let's just check in on it. And let's say I go openings over here. So we want him, for example, to spend 20 hours here, 20 hours here, 3 here, and then in addition to that, to do this sparring in the same position. So that is a lot of hours that we're actually asking him to do with the openings, right? So, and in particular, I think a big ask, especially for somebody who's got these cool chessable courses, is to get into the dojo and get somebody to spar the positions out with him. It's immensely helpful. Okay, so I'm going to click a new window, and we're going to click this, boom, bang. Here's the game. I just want to say, actually, let's just say something obvious. It's really cool that we can just have a link, just a link, and boom, boom, we got it going on. So we have I Thought You Knew Is White and a 1945 FIDE going on. And so that is great. Now, let's just see. Do we have a time graph? We do. Check it out. That's a real time graph right there, my friends. That looks like a Ding Gukesh time graph. These boys thought, dude. These boys thought, and then they didn't have no time left. They're just living on the increment at the end. All right. So let's get into our game review. When is the Dojo Aggressive Repertoire for Black coming to chess? Well, that's a good question. I am coming out with a course about time in chess. It's hopefully going to come out in the next week or so. Yeah, it's the Europeans, though, so they're on their own time. And then I think, if we did a chessable course, that I like the combination of the Sicilian and the King's Indian. And kind of we already have it, because at the site we have David did the Sicilian and Kostya has a King's Indian course. So the long answer is maybe someday on Chessable, but the short answer is it's already on our site. Okay, so he comes late. And I'll tell you, losing 13 minutes, not a good thing. All right, good. So he deviates with Queen C7. And this is a funky setup. To me, surely this felt as a positional concession for the moment, so I was happy enough. So, this position, I think, requires maybe you already have it, but just some understanding. Because this whole Rosalimo stuff, it's pretty involved. And H3 certainly, it's not the most terrible move. I don't even know if I want to criticize it too much. Because what you do is you do end up playing it quickly. I understand why you like A4, but you play this quickly, which is important, and you play that quickly, which is important. And now you play A4, and your position's amazing. right? Your position's amazing. I think they should play a5. Good. And let's read what you write, because what I most want to hear is what you see happening in the position. Several things are going in my mind now, and I'll do my best to explain. Okay, black is solid. The compromised pawn structure makes their queenside inflexible, but in this moment it will not be easy for me to induce any important weakening. Black's dark square bishop is restricted. Most of my pawns are on light squares. Okay. All right. Now, okay, so what I'm concerned with is if you sense what the plan should be. Right. So what I think the masters of this opening have figured out, and there's several very strong players here to emulate, is that really it's like the dojo aggressive repertoire here. And so the thing to understand here, especially when they lock it like this, that our pawns are pointing towards the king side, and that's where we should be going, right? So what does that mean? It doesn't look maybe superficially like we have much over there, but I think in particular we want to be aiming eventually for an f4, right? So you play knight c3, and I'm not sure I get it, but we're going to give it a chance because I can imagine maybe it could work too. My intuition would be to play here, here, move this thing, and then play f4, and then take whenever we're ready. And that we want to claim that we really want to play on the king side, f4. That's where our pawns are, right? And the benefit of his pawns being nasty is that they cannot open the board on the light squares over there or create drama. And at any point, if we need to play b3, we can. We're in no hurry. I'm sure there's other setups as well. Let's see yours. Knight e2, f6. I recognize this as a positional technique described in techniques of positional play. Holy moly, on my desk, dude. On my desk, okay. I was looking at this some with Jamil. At the same time, this move weakens black's light squares a bit. But their bishop, they have a light square bishop. I was unsure how to proceed. Right, and I don't like c3. So I have a feeling, what I sense is you don't have a sense of what the plan is here. You played c3. Let's see what you would rather play. You talk about knight d2. Okay. Notice if we're going to do knight d2, it's a little weird because our other knight could have gone there. I think another move that's, unless you know about the kingside plan, you wouldn't play it, and that's knight h2, right? Because I want to play f4. I want to light him up. Yeah. Okay. So, c3, and now the guy loses his mind and plays g5. Now, by the way, both players are tanking. They're tanking at this point. So if we go back to ye old time graph, you can see, I mean, we're at move 11, and they're doing Gukesh Ding kind of style game over here. They're falling into the darkness real fast. So it's important to say that so when I think, let's just talk about openings for a second. When I think about good opening play, I want you to be able to play these positions quicker so that you don't run into the hectic time pressure that you end up doing in this game. Because why would you play quicker? Because you feel confident in the position. Okay, you also considered knight h2 here. One problem I see for black is really like, well, we got to investigate that move just because we're looking at him. And I think this would be the question. And after, let's say, here, am I afraid of bishop f3? Maybe I am, but I would want to investigate it. Maybe I am, actually. Maybe I am. So, knight h2 is a thought. However, then you have the h5 drama. Well, that's an interesting position for sure. Now, did you consider knight g3 also? Here, I think the intention would be g4, knight h4. And if here we have this nasty check, and I don't think they're ready. Now, could they play h5? Maybe. Maybe. Is it scary? I'm scared. I'm scared. There might be some things going on here. It's still pretty hot, like a knight h2. I don't know what's going on. Okay, knight d2. Good move. We're not afraid of bishop takes e4. Rook d8. This move, I don't know. Because now where does the white-black king want to go? And the bishop on d6 is really in the way of everybody. Okay, rook d8 looks funky. I don't like bishop c4, and I like what you're saying. Castles long would have been more ambitious. Knight g3. Makes sense? b5, I don't know. Having ruled knight d6 out, this is the only move that makes sense. Knight e3 is what he's talking about. This move b5 does not look right to me because he's activating our rook. And I think maybe we could do other things like knight d6, but this looks good for us just to play knight e3. Well, I don't know. I like white now. Oh, my Lord. And now you played queen h5. Looks okay. I think queen f3 also looks very basic and strong. King h8, okay. And now you try to hurt him now with h4. Okay. Now, by the way, we're in deep time pressure here, or we're about to be. Now, by the way, he kind of did it to himself, but like the whole thing I was trying to stress was that we wanted to play on the king side. Now we got it going on now, too. Simple chess. And now g3. And you talk a little bit about knight g4. You talk about g4. g3, I believe in it. Queen d7. And now are we bailing when we play AB? I don't know. It looks good, though. So here we go. Okay. Now we're doing great, because now he has to give us his good bishop. Well, okay, now I think you're doing great. Now you say rook a7. Is there something wrong with this, though? Let's see, rook a7. Oh, and you're calling this equal. But wait a second, you're not better after rook takes b5? He goes here. I missed out that now black has rook g4 and the situation is getting awkward for just one pawn. Okay, maybe. So, it's definitely a little spicy. I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to lie to you. It's a little spicy. But okay, let's try it. One reason I kind of believe in your position is just because that bishop isn't working. All of your pieces kind of are in the game. And now you talk about bishop f8. Would have posed some practical problems. Yes, indeed. And then you're saying queen h2 is forced. And I understand where the pain comes from. I don't know if I fully get everything. Like, why are we... Is there a reason we're lost on queen e3? Oh, cry. Hey! Oh, no! Oh, Freddie Patzer, I blew it. How long has it been? Oh, no. Yeah, I do have an excuse, okay? I've been up since 4:20 this morning. Now, that's not the 4:20 p.m. club. That's the 4:20 a.m. club, okay? it's been an exciting ride here, too. Just a few moves, Mr. 420. Just a few moves. Okay, so let me show you this. A very fascinating position. He's playing this guy. He liked rook a7. And then all of a sudden, here, he feels some grief. I don't believe any of this, though, for black. I really don't. Maybe I should, though. Huh? Maybe I should be believing it. Rook b7, rook g4, queen h6, and now bishop f8 is what we are looking at. And it's hard to evaluate. I kind of want to believe in the guy, though. I kind of want to believe in the guy. Admittedly, this would all have been a very awkward situation, and a single pawn grab was about to waste all my efforts to hold the game. Oh, man, what is a really intense annotation, too. So dude plays e4, and now we go snack. Dang. Dang. That's some real chess right there. Wow. Queen f5, de4. I think black should try to make a draw at this point. Queen f3. So he wants to sack it all. Wow. Okay, this is a hot position. Queen e5 and rook e4. Now, black, I think, is playing with fire because it better be mate. It better be mate, my friend, because we got some coconuts over here. Queen d6. Bam! Again, the only move. Holy moly. Oh, wow. So then this all went down. And right, there's no way we should lose this coconut. Wow, dude. What a game. What a game. Also a great annotation. And the mistakes later, one thing we want to stress, I was geeking out on the time graph because the mistakes later were really caused by you taking too much time, you and your opponent taking too much time in the opening. Now, you could say to me, be like, Kraai, Ding and Gukesh, they're taking all their time too. Don't use that as an example. Anytime you use more than 10 minutes a move, that should be considered a blunder. That's a great piece of advice that I have taken to heart. And so, for example, on this move, Queen h5, you spent 18 minutes, almost 19 minutes. That's where the game is getting decided. Because Queen f3 or Queen h5, I don't know. They both look pretty good to me. And after both of those moves, white is definitely in charge, right? What other big tanks did you do here? A collection of tanks. Here's knight d2. You thought for 14, almost 15 minutes. And this is what's going to kill you. This is what's hurting you the most, is the time. And again, the thing I said, I think is true. Like, you're going to get a lot of positions like this, and then getting a sense of how to play them will be very helpful, right? And I think he gave you an advantageous version of it. But once you have a feel for the plans, you'll be able to make those moves quicker. Because honestly, that's how the game was decided. For your opponent, too. I mean, that guy needed some more time to think about it. All right, you guys, I am crispy and crittered done. I have nothing left in the tank. I'm going to raid somebody. Whew. And I don't even have to, it's hard to even imagine, but I do not have to get up at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. I thought for sure I was going to be getting up at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning, but I am not. It is over. If you are interested in just some chess fun, I encourage you to go look at the Chess Base India show about the World Championship, and just start watching at hour 4 and 1 minute. 4 hours and 1 minute. Amazing. I honestly, like, their excitement was so compelling that I started crying, dude. I was crying, you know. I was there doing the commentary. I wasn't crying, but I saw their emotion. I was like, oh, damn. This is really real, man. All right, but thank you so much. We're going to raid Chess Sharks, say hello to them, friends of the dojo.